G'day everybody and welcome to Dog Shadow Gaming, the channel where we live to game and game to live. As always, I'm Belth, and with me I have...
Beast, a new person who's never played this game before, so it's probably going to suck hardcore, but it's going to try and learn and actually maybe might get somewhere in the game.
Alright, so as I said, we've got Beast with us. Beast is a longtime friend and moderator of the channel. He helps me out quite a lot. And during a recent stream of my Quick Head Taker campaign on Twitch and YouTube, he was watching it and got the bug for Total War Warhammer 2. And out of a spur of a moment decision, decided to buy it. So I thought we would do a couple episodes on teaching new players how to play Total War Warhammer. It's a massive game when you first get into it, and it can be quite daunting. There's a lot to learn about it. And there are guides out there. I know there's a couple of guides on how to use cavalry and bits and pieces, but I thought I'd do an in-depth co-op campaign with myself and Beast. We're only going to be on easy mode, guys, because he literally has never, ever played the game.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to go through step by step and work through some of the things. If you've watched any of my other my YouTube channel videos, I do explain things as I go, but this is going to be a little bit more in detail, and I'm going to be spending some time talking Beast through the mechanics of the game, how things work and how they play out during the battle, things to look out for, all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned, and we'll be back right after this. All right, so it'll take a couple seconds to load up, man. This is, I think, personally myself, the best part of Total War. The co-op campaign is so much fun. You know, games are always better with friends, but this one is a really cool game when you can play it. Oh, hang on.
Compare this at all?
You gotta press ready, man. I forgot about that one.
Okay. See, I know what I'm doing. I got everything under control. Would you compare this at all to Mountain Blade Warband? Is there any similarity to it at all?
Well, it's no, because I mean, Mountain Blade Warband is set in a more realistic time frame, and
yeah, well, what I mean is more like the way the game plays, the way you handle your units and do things. Is it similar in battle mode, in any way?
Not really, man. No. I would say out of the old games that I mean, you were watching my stream the other night, so you got to see sort of how it works, and the closest thing I think that's what it makes it such a good game and so popular, is there isn't a lot that's very close to it. The Total War series has been going since Shogun 1, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, guys, but Shogun 1 was when I first picked the series up and have been playing it ever since. But there's nothing else out there that's quite like this, that's structured like this. There's plenty of 4X games, and there's plenty of other things, but nothing that is close to the Total War experience. All right, we're just waiting for Beast to load in here. He should get in any second.
There's a lot of cable between you and I.
Well, yes, we're joining Vietnam to Australia, so hopefully this works well and we don't have any issues.
Oh, the ping will be in the 150 to 200, but that's fine.
Yeah, it should be right. I don't know. It's taking a while to load in. What's hopefully
it is loading. The bar's moving. It's just because of the distance. That's all.
Oh, so you're still in the loading screen. You're loading up.
Yeah. I've still got the red bar moving up.
Oh, okay. So right, you're just checking in with me. Yeah.
Because I'm going to you. It runs. Well, I don't know where the NVIDIA hooked up, but it was going to run a bit slow because it's a long way.
Yeah, it should be all right. Generally, this game, because it's not a first-person shooter or anything, it's not, I don't think, too bandwidth intensive. You can play on pretty awful ping, I think, and not have much problems. I mean, I play with a mate called Ollie who's in the Netherlands, and we're usually right.
Netherlands, you must get lucky every night. I couldn't resist.
He does have a missus.
Sure.
I don't really know about the other parts. He might not appreciate. His missus might not appreciate that, mate.
No. Good thing I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
I could just imagine everyone rolling their eyes, going, "Fuck, this guy's a wanker."
Jeez, I don't know. Are you still loading? What's going on?
Nearly done.
It shouldn't
About
be, really shouldn't be taking this long.
It always is when I'm from me to you. It's always slower.
Yeah. No, normally, I mean, me and Ollie, usually it comes in pretty quick. Oh, it's restarted itself.
Uh-oh. I just went to the end of the load line.
There we go. We're in. Beautiful. I was getting a bit worried there. I was like, oh no, we're not going to make it. Okay, so I'm hosting, so I get to start, I believe. Now we are gonna we want to get up there and help Beastie. So that's our shtick. We're gonna try and obviously consolidate our little area here, and then we're gonna move straight up. He's an absolute Carrig Hearn is a bummer. Like he's real pain in the butt to try and consolidate. So we might move. I don't know. We'll probably take Carrig Angazar, and then we'll keep moving that way. I want to try and
a big map.
Accelerate Barak Var maybe as well. Okay, we can always help you out a bit later. So to start us off, mate, I'm just gonna throw my guys in here. So right now you're in between turns, Beastie, and you can play with some buttons and look at some stuff while you're waiting your turn. Like you can, there are some things you can do. We're gonna go for the cash straight away. Always will go for the cash on the dwarves, and straight into that. And
man, I tell you, they always put
growth,
so much. They always put so much detail into their level design. Even something like this has still got a lot of detail in it.
Yes, indeedy. Yeah. What do we got? Just going to. We'll just grab three of those guys for now. Real quickly, I'm going to.
Here's a question. Why does it look like you've got ghosts in your team?
It's just Balaga. He gets ancestral. He gets like ancestors that help him out that are ghosts.
Oh, I see.
So he's the only one that gets it. There are some ghost. There are some ghost generals though, or like players. Like the new one for the. Can't remember her name. The new one on the Vampire Coast is a ghost. She's an ex-Bretonian guy. So we're just going to do this real quickly. Will he pay us? Let's, it's high, so we'll add another one. We'll do a payment here. So what I'm doing now, mate, is I'm just doing a little bit of diplomacy. And the dwarves are really good at diplomacy, and they're really good at teaching you how to play diplomacy. Will you take it? And when you first start off, one of the good things to do is to try and make them pay for being your mates. Especially if you go down the points of diplomacy in the point tree. So here I can get military access. He's still high here, so we're saying no aggression pact military access. He's high, so I can go payment, demand a payment, and we'll go up here. We'll go to 700. It's moderate. Let's have a go. Yep. So this is a really good way on earlier levels. You won't get this. You can still get this on higher levels all the way up to about very hard to very hard. And you can push, get a bit of cash to start you off just from doing this. So don't ever forget to, if it's good, then try and make them pay for it. So I think that's just about it. Border princes, these guys won't bother with us. All right, we're cool. All right, so then we'll finish up from here and we'll move on to Beastie.
Right, it's up to my turn.
It's up to your turn. All right.
Obviously, this is my guy up on the hill here swinging his hammer around.
No, that's my guy. So you're over in the Silver Road. Let's go and have a look at
How
you
do you
over
find
here.
yourself if you're looking around the map and you lose yourself?
You can double click on your portrait down in the bottom left. And that will take you to yourself.
That's not working.
You double clicked on your portrait, it didn't work?
No, I'm not.
What about your flag up the top there? Can you double click on Carrick Ungor? Oh, sorry. No, that doesn't work. Hang on. What is it? I forget already. You've asked me a question and I can't help you already. I just I don't even know because I already know where everybody is. So if you have a look on the map up the top there, you'll see there's a light blue place called Karaz Akarak. Click on that and it'll take you to it.
There's me.
Yep, that's you. Now, to start off with, if you click on your guy, you'll see you've got a portrait of him in the left-hand side here. In that portrait, you've got a little number 1 on it. That's your rank, current rank of your general. Just below that is a character detail panel. So you can go into either of those. In the character detail panel, it'll show you what flags you've picked up, what gear you've put on your general, his general stats, his buffs, all that sort of stuff.
So there is a skill tree to it as well.
Well, if you
just for your generals, or can you do this to your units as well?
It's just your generals, man, on these guys. Well, your generals, sorry, and your special characters. So your agents and your generals can do it. So you'll get agents that you can put in your. You know how I've got on my quick head taker campaign, I've got the warlock engineer and the plague priest. So those are like. They are special, they're like agents, right? So they have skill trees and you can put gear on them and stuff like that too, yeah? So down the bottom here in the middle, you'll see your army panel. So you've clicked on that army and that army has Thorum Grudgebearer. You've got some Hammerers there, which is a top tier unit, so try not to lose them. You've got some standard dwarf warriors, some miners who are kind of like your rubbishy type tier, your very, very first tier. You got a couple of quarrelers there, your long-range archers will sit behind your lines, and then you start with a grudge thrower, which is an artillery piece, right? And that's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, there's a little picture underneath their portrait that says what kind of weapon they're using, so that explains everything.
Correct. If you mouse over each one of their portraits, on the left-hand side, you'll see a little scroll come up. This scroll contains all the information of that unit. So you've got armor piercing, damage. So if we go to Hammerer, for instance, and you just hover the mouse over it, on the left-hand side above Thorum Grudgebearer's portrait there, a scroll will appear. You got up the top there, it says Hammerer Infantry. It's got a little picture of a hammer, right?
Yep.
So they're armored, they're armor piercing, and they're a damage dealer, okay? And then if you go down, it tells you... under that, it'll tell you normally how much they cost to upkeep and all that sort of stuff. You've got their health bar. Then you've got armor, so how much armor they've got, leadership, speed, attack, melee, defense, weapon strength, charge bonus. Pay close attention to this when you're looking. Once you understand what these guys are each capable of, you then can know whether or not you're going to beat another person's army. So this takes a little while, so don't stress if you don't understand it all straight away. Next to, if you look on that scroll and you look down to when it says weapon strength, you have a little picture of, it almost looks like a little turtle or something. I always think it's like a silver turtle. But what that represents is armor piercing, right? So it's got armor piercing, AP damage. So if these guys will take out anything that has armor fairly quickly, or it'll take a percentage of that armor down, yeah? So it's good to have those because you'll get other things on there like poison and magical attacks, fire attacks. So it'll show you that they have those specific attacks. When you click on the hammerers instead of hovering over it, the panel there will stay instead of leaving. And then you can look down the bottom and you can see there's like little pictures, right? The little pictures represent, so we've got magic resist is the first one there. It's like a little shield. They have resilience, and then they have hide, right? So if you hover over each one of those, it'll tell you kind of what it is. So magic resistance is damage, magic resistance, 25% damage of magical attacks is reduced by this amount, yeah? And then you move to next one. You've got resilience. This unit is immune to the following types of attrition, snow, and mountain. Okay, so you're not going to take anything from that. All doors have that.
Clicked on it to open up his stats, a bigger stat page.
Yeah, so you've clicked on your hammer.
Right click and it brings up a bigger scroll.
Oh, you can, yeah, don't right click. Oh, you can right click. If you right click, that'll take you to what's the name. But if you just left click it, it'll just, instead of, so if you're hovering over it, the little scroll appears on the left, right? If you just left click, it'll stay there when you pull your mouse off.
You've done that.
Right, so then you can look through it. And they've also got hide in forest, right? Which means they can hide in the forest, basically. They have stealth when in the forest. If you right click, it'll open up the wiki. And this can be really useful for, especially for new players who don't really know what they are. It gives you a more broader explanation of what the hammerers are. It goes down and gives you their statistics, their attributes, hide in forest. This unit can hide in the forest, piercing and strength and all that. So it just sort of gives you a little bit extra. Cool. And you can do that with anybody. You can do that with lords and find out what abilities they have. Now, the other thing that's really interesting, dude, if you left click on the hammer so that little stats page stays there when you take your mouse off, and then you put your mouse over the guys next to them, the dwarf warriors, what you'll see is that they'll have a heap of little red arrows and green arrows next to it, right? Next to all his stats. Are you seeing that?
Yep.
So what that means is they're all the stats that this unit is worse than the one you're comparing it to. Yeah? So remember what I said, the hammerers are a top tier unit. You usually when you start with a lord, you'll get usually at least one top tier unit. Like if you start with Grimgor Ironhide, you'll get a unit of Black Orcs, which you don't get till top tier. You know, hammerers are top tier. The rest of the stuff there on the bar is all low tier stuff, but you get that one unit. So you really want to try to hold on to that top tier unit because they're really strong, right? And they're going to help you win battles. So this is a good way of comparing what units are like in comparison to each other and how much better they are. So you can see, like, if you're scrolling over the Dwarf Warrior there, the hammer is better in almost everything except melee defense, and that's because the Dwarf Warrior has a shield. Otherwise, because he's a two-hander, so he's a damage dealer, not necessarily shielded. Cool?
Yeah.
If we left click then on the Dwarf Warrior, so just roll over and just left click on the Dwarf Warrior, you'll then see everything that he has, armored and shielded, charge defense against large foes, which is good. So cavalry and large monsters, if they charge you, you will, well, if you just look at the tooltip, it'll come up. When standing and bracing against a charge of large enemies, such as cavalry or monsters, this unit will negate the enemy's charge bonus. So that's important, yeah? And then down the bottom, it'll have charge defense versus large. When bracing, this unit negates. Now, to brace, you just have to be standing still. Okay, so I know this is a bit boring if you're watching, guys, or maybe it's not. Maybe you are looking for the first time, and maybe some of this you haven't seen. But this is what a new player needs to sort of know so they understand what they're looking at. All right, so let's keep moving along the bottom. Over the right here, mate, you will see there's a little wheel on the right here. Now, the hourglass is the end of your turn timer. So once you finish your turn, you press the hourglass to move on to the next one. But don't press that just yet. Down the bottom, you've got objectives. If you click on this, it'll give you the current objective for you. So between you and your co-op partner, raise or conquer at least 140 different settlements, right? So that's your objective because we're playing a co-op mission. The next one above it is diplomacy. And I can't click on it to show everybody at home, but you can click on it. Now, this diplomacy page shows you all of the people that you currently are aware of. Yeah, and your relationship with them. I'll go to that a little bit more on my turn so I can talk through it a little bit more. Above that, you then have your technology tree. If you open up your technology tree, every single different race has a different technology tree, and this is really important to understand how to go down them. But as you can see, it tells you how many turns with the little hourglass next to you it's going to take for that to be completed and you to learn that particular thing and get that bonus.
Yeah, okay. I'm mousing over it as you're doing it.
Cool. All right. I just don't want to go too fast for you, BC, so you understand. All right. So then moving on, you've got and this is a dwarf. This is a faction specific. This is a dwarf faction specific. You've got the Great Book of Grudges. In the Great Book of Grudges, it's empty right now because we've just started. But every single time, and this is what's funny about the dwarves, every single time anybody does anything that they don't like, they're going to put it in this book. and then they have to avenge it, right? There must be revenge, or they must sort of get even, or it has to be atoned for, yeah. And that's called the Great Book of Grudges. So that's only for the dwarves. And then you have the Forge. Now this is for the dwarves, and I think it's for the dwarves and it's for the Tomb Kings. They both have this. And here you can actually forge weapons with Oath Gold, which is up the top on the left next to your normal gold, your treasury. You've got Oath Gold, which you'll pick up from taking bases and doing certain things. Certain units can give it to you as well on the dwarf roster, but we'll talk about that more in advance. But here you can actually build yourself some bits and pieces, which is really nice. And you can get some pretty nice stuff out of it too.
It's good that you can customize. Sorry, man. It's good that you can customize this much. That means you can really do with your army.
Mate, the role-playing potential of this, every person who plays this game will play it a little bit differently. They'll gear out their guys differently. Remember, you also pick up weapons, armor, and loot. Like, you'll pick up special weapons from just sacking settlements, defeating other people, that sort of stuff. We'll see all that as we go along. So the last one down on the right here for this panel that you'll see, there's two. There's a notification settings, which you don't even need to bother touching. You've got a turn, so the current turn number. So, I mean, you can go up to like 300 turns, or you can go up indefinitely until you die or otherwise. And then next to it, you've got skip current notification. So if you've got something to do and you're going to go next, it'll come up with like a question mark or an exclamation mark or something to let you know. And you click on that, it'll take you to or open up whatever it is that you still have currently that you haven't done yet. Okay? And if it's just got an hourglass, you can just click it and go next. That's up to you. Now, we'll just keep going up and we'll finish here. Up on the right-hand corner, you have the map. Obviously, it's a mini-map, fairly straightforward. Above and to the right, you have your current faction. So, for instance, mine says Ungron Ancestry. Left-click here to view faction summary. Before the loss of 8 Peaks, Belegar's ancestors were the kings of nigh impregnable fortress for many generations. Angron clan is steeped in centuries of military understanding and has a keen eye for the particulars of siege warfare. So for me, my particular thing is upkeep is plus 50 until I take Carrick 8 Peaks, is recaptured. Leadership plus 10 when laying siege. Starts with 4 Clan Ungren Ancestor heroes. Unique building chain and available at Carrick 8 Peaks. So I'm trying to get down there. That's mine. Yours will be a bit different. Next to that, honestly, you'll probably never touch that. It's just there. Next to that is known factions. If you click down here, this will tell you all the known factions and your relationship with them. So basically, it's the quick way of looking at your political situation without having to actually go into the political tab. You can just click on this. Now, this becomes important later on, like late game, because when you've got like 30, 40, 50, 60 settlements, you want to use these quick tabs to get through turns a lot quicker than having to click into different things and going around the map trying to find things. So you can just use these to quickly have a look at your system. So if you move to the next one, it's got like provinces, and you mouse over the little castle there. This will show you all the castles that you see on your map there. And then in your provinces, it'll show you yours. So you can click on this one, and it'll take you directly straight to your province. And next to it, it'll tell you what's going on, basically. So if you look at the vaults, I've got public order is neutral. It's neither up nor down. You'll have a red arrow or a green arrow telling you whether your public order is going up or down. How much cash it's making me is right next to it. Next to the vaults, you'll see there's a little sort of broken red sort of castle. What this means is we don't actually own the whole province. We only own one of them. So when you're getting further on and you've got like 70 different things you can build at once and blah, 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 and you're not really sure, and you've got 6 or 8 different provinces, you can come to this and quickly go, okay, if there's something to build in the province, it'll have a little hammer next to it, right? If there's
got that already.
Right, so it's telling you can build something in there. So it's a good way of just quickly running through all your different places, right? And also, if you have a look down, it tells you what the other provinces are working. So Southern Badlands, if I click on that one, this is already making 1,180 gold. So they're doing well already. They're making good money. So it does give you a bit of an idea of who's going to be really rich around you as well. If you want to raid them, this is good to know if you want to go and raid somebody, because the higher their income, the more you can get out of raiding them. And then the next one along up the top there is Lords and Heroes. And this is good if you've got like a crap load of armies and Lords running around. So you'll see that it has Balagar, and then he has his 4 unique or agents underneath him. And it's got their healths as well. And just anything about them. Level 5, you can go in, you can click on them, you can do whatever. It'll take you straight to them. If you just go and click on any one of them, it'll take you there. So these are really good to know and use, because they just make moving around the map late game a lot easier. It's okay now because we're going to have like 3 or 4 settlements, so we can just click on them. But once you get late game, you really want to start using these to just speed things up and make it a lot easier for you to get through each turn. Okay, so moving on to the very last one. Now, this particular clan Angron, we have this, Karakate Peaks. You do not control Karakate Peaks upkeep. So this is just constantly reminding you of needing that. But next to that, you have Satisfy 0-9 total severity. The Longbeards are silent because they are very few grudges uncommitted for. So it's basically the grudges. You've got your Oath Gold next to you, and then you've got your diplomatic relationship, basically. And how bad, well, this is more to do with that, pretty much. But they're different depending on what you've got, basically. Beside that, you've got your actual turnover income. So if that's in green, it means that you're in the green. Your books are in the green, right? So your income is how much you make every time you have a turn. This is probably the most important stat in the entire game, so keep an eye on it. Because if you go into the red, you're in trouble. So you have to constantly make sure you're in the green. And this is where new players tend to stuff up. They go and buy everything all of a sudden, and they don't have enough income to support it. Left of that is your current treasury. So it's how much money you got in your wallet. This is how much money's coming in per turn. This is how much money's you've got at the moment. Think of this a bit like Monopoly. For those of you who've played Monopoly, I know, bad. Heresy. But this is like the money you've got, and this is passing go. Every time you pass go, you collect your $200. Well, every time you turn a turn, at the moment for me, every time I click that turn button, I'm getting 749 back into my wallet. So you got to be really careful of this, because you'd be surprised. You can add 1 unit. Like I'm about to add 3 units, right? Each one of these units, if I click on him, will cost me 165 upkeep. So if you go and click on your dwarf warrior in your army, and then you go and have a look, it says the unit size is 100, and basically, and then next to it, it says that their upkeep every turn is 165. So I have 749. I'm about to take up 3 times 165, which means it's going to go down considerably. That's okay, because I'm going to use those units to go and take him out here, and then get some here, basically. So that's almost pretty much it, right? That little mid bar there, and these two, your income and your how much cash, most important things in the game. Last but not least, you have your faction turn timer. So this just tells you whose turn it is, and then it'll go through the turn. Sorry, well, I just scratched my nose. You've got, you can speed up or go normal speed. So normal, if I click it again, it'll go to normal speed, and then I double click, it goes to fast. That's pretty straightforward. As it goes through them, it'll tell you their strength compared to your own, right? Not really sure why. Not really sure why that's there. It should be green. I'm not sure. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for that. There's nothing more to it full on about it than that. Moving on over here, you've got map maker defense. So this one you can just, can you see that beast? If I go like this.
No, I can't see anything you're doing because I'm on my screen.
No.
Oh, I saw something appear. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a map marker. So I can, when you're in co-op and you're playing like this, I can say to you, hey beast, you got a guy who's going to come up this way. Yeah. If you click on blue, it'll do that. If you click on red, it'll do that. So red is an arrow, and so you can say the guys are going to come up this way towards you. Or you can say you need to line up here. Now this works in both. It can work in when you're playing on an actual battle or just sitting here on the map. And then blue is just a straight line. I can just say I want to go around this way like that. Okay? And it'll disappear. in time. It'll just disappear for you. So that's a good way of communicating with each other, especially when you're on the battlefield and you're trying to work out like plans and stuff. That's really it. I mean, you've got a basic menu here that's pretty stock standard. You've got a chat part here, so I can go like that if I want to. You don't need to. Just exit out of that. And that's pretty much it. Help pages, which is just what we were doing before. So these are like a directory, so you can go through. If you click on the little question mark in the top left-hand corner, Beast, it'll open up all the different. It can give you, the races, a little bit on the races. What are they good at? What are they not good at? Where can they live? So, for instance, we were just looking at the elves. High elves faction normally serve the Phoenix King and rule of Azure, and it can gain influence. Blah 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 blah. And then you can click on influence, and it'll tell you what influence is. So it's just like an encyclopedia. So that's it. That's the UI. Do you have any questions on that? I know there was a lot of information there.
No, I'll keep checking in as I go along. If I think of something, I'll ask.
Yeah, sure, mate. All right. So from here, dude, I would probably recommend, we're on easy, so you should be able to do this. What I would do is, if you're unsure, you can recruit a couple of troops and then go hit the Pillars of Grungy, or you can just go hit the Pillars of Grungy. Completely up to you.
What's better?
Well, we're on easy, so you should be able to do it. But if you want, if you're unsure, you could recruit a couple of guys. I would click on Karaz, and as soon as you go on there, you'll notice that it pops up, right? So you can see that you own Karaz, and then Mount Squighorn and the Pillars of Grungy, and this is all in the Silver Road. So this is the province of the Silver Road, right? So the aim is to take whole provinces. Yeah, you take each of the settlements, and then when you get control of the province, you then get extra buffs for owning the whole province. Okay. You're going to want to build something. So currently you have the actual settlement itself on the top left of your settlement building, and then below that you have a sparring chamber, which is basically a barracks that allows you to recruit soldiers. Okay. Yep. So in the next one, you can build whatever you like. So if you click on it, it'll open up a menu for you. I can't do it because I just can't do it.
Yeah, okay.
And then you can
pop up on top. Yep.
Correct. Now from here, you can choose what you want to build in there. I would possibly, you're probably not going to get too much in the way of rebellion. We're on easy. So, I mean, I would probably pick, I don't know, something that helps you gain growth, or potentially you could do, what have you got access to?
Landmark, resource, military recruitment.
Yeah, so if you hover over them, it'll tell you what each one of them does.
Okay, that's for army.
So if they're grayed out, you don't have the money for them, or you're not eligible. If they're colored, then you could pick them and you can build them if you wish.
Yeah.
New players. You've got so many hours ahead of you to do of learning.
Yeah, no shit.
For now, I'd probably just pick probably growth. Dwarves need to grow. So I would pick something that has growth. I think if you pick there's a keg, it'll give you growth. It should give you growth and public order, I believe. It's like a beer keg.
No, I haven't got a beer keg.
So,
I've got something that looks like a glass resource. A region's natural resource can be harnessed to put to good use by its controlling factions.
Is that like a diamond-shaped gemstone?
Yes.
Yeah, click on that. That's fine. That'll give you some cash.
Never mind. 3 turns.
Okay. Now, click back on your troops there, on your grudge bearer.
I can recruit troops. I've got 4 units I can recruit. Should I do that now?
Well, up to you. Yeah, I'd probably recruit some. Probably just recruit 2 for now, Because you don't want to, remember, you've got your current supply of cash income. You don't want to blow through that, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not going to get mine. As you said, they're useless. And I've got Dwarf Warriors. They're a bit more expensive.
Yeah, so they're about, they're 165 turnover per turn. I think they're the same for Grudge
106 for me.
Okay.
106 per turn. 475 to buy. So I can at least...
There you go. Okay, so you've got how many of those? 2?
I'll get 2 extra, yes.
Yeah, just get 2 building. And then you'll need to go down to your right and choose a technology that you want to research. So go click on technology in the little wheel there.
Hold on. Yes.
Okay. And look, you can choose any technology you like. I do recommend, though, with the dwarves, you kind of... With the dwarves, dwarf warriors or dwarven armies are very expensive. They're very, very good, and you don't have to manage too many of them because they're so good. They're also expensive. So my personal tactic is I tend to go up the top end of the tree and go across, picking out some of the money-making ones first. Also, while you're there...
Like the first one.
Correct. While you're in that area, you can also get massive increases to diplomacy, which can then lead to trade, which also gives you more money. And it means that you can get allies and military allies pretty quickly. They have the dwarves have one of the best diplomatic abilities in the game. Okay, so you've...
So if that's one...
Did you choose one?
Choose Khazad Subsides.
Okay,
that'll be the top. That'll be the very top one. It's got all kinds of income from settlements, building plus 5%. So
perfect.
That's probably the one you tell me to
choose.
One.
Yep, good-o. Now from there, mate,
turns.
Yep, 3 turns, and you'll have that. So then from there, go out of there, and you should just be able to click on the end turn timer.
I'm not moving.
No, because you're recruiting. You can't move while you're recruiting. You'll be able to move on the next turn.
Done.
Okay. So click on the end turn. Down the bottom, in the right, it'll say, you gotta go, there'll be a turn, there'll be a, what do you call it? Oh my God, slipped my mind. The
hourglass.
The hourglass, click on the hourglass.
I can't.
Won't let you click on the hourglass?
No, I can click in the middle. It says resolve to skip this notification and end turn.
All right, so what does the notification say?
I don't know. I can't see anything.
Okay.
Settlement upgrade available.
You still have a settlement upgrade available?
Yeah.
Okay, so go back to Karakaz. Karaz.
I can upgrade to level 2 outpost.
Yep, I would do that.
Okay. So you have to construct, the upgrades.
No. You should do it, and this is part of it teaching you how to play, right? So you should definitely...
it's an hourglass.
Okay, now it means you can go to the next turn. Now, you could have gone to the next turn anyway by just clicking the little arrow next to the hourglass. If you didn't want to upgrade for some reason, or it's telling you there's this, all it is prompting you and saying, hey, this is still outstanding. Do you want to do something about it?
Yeah,
you don't have to do it.
What it means now, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You know what that little picture of the face with the, the quotation mark in it meant. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's it, man. This is why we're doing the chat, where we're doing this series to teach new people how to play. But the first step...
How many races do we have?
Huh?
Look at them all.
Yeah, there's a lot of races in Mortal Empires. Yeah, but so this is the whole map from Total War Warhammer 1 and Total War Warhammer 2 put together. So there's a lot of races on here, and there's a lot of races you can't actually play yet on here, but are still on here. They're part of it.
I've downloaded quite a bit.
So
you can fight them, you just can't play them. That's good. You can see them fighting, and you say, oh, I like the way they do that, or I like the way they do that, I might buy that. That's kind of not a bad idea.
So on the right here, you'll notice as we're going through, like the flags are going through, or the banners are going through, you'll notice on the right here that events are happening. So war declared between Barak Vavar and Beef Snatchers. Oh, sorry, Beef Snatchers, Teeth Snatchers. So you'll notice that bits and pieces like so, and then I can click down here and I can say, okay, they're at war. They're at war. Units around. So these units recruited. So these are my units I was recruiting in my last turn. So that's cool. So we're going to go over here. I didn't actually need to recruit these. I could have done this without it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Now, you'll notice when you go into your turn, down the side here, we've got Balagar Ironhammer. He's such a cool dude. Down the side here, something that I missed is when you click on your troop, you'll have unit experience per turn plus 30 and scouting ability plus 10. And this is just showing you campaign movement plus 10. So just down next to him, there's a little green tab here. And this is the different stances. So we've got stances march. So you can see that increases the army campaign map marching range, just getting tongue twisters, by 50%. However, my recruitment is disabled. I take huge vigor loss. Vigor can be very important in battle, so I'll talk about that more later on. And should the army be attacked, retreat will be impossible. Battle initiation is disabled, right? So that, if you need to get somewhere fast, that's a stance you can use, but you got to be very, very careful about it, especially for new players. They quite often go, oh yeah, I can move so much further if I use this, but you get caught out and then you get dead very quickly because your army basically starts winded. So they're not hitting at full strength, they're weak. So you got to be very careful about that. The next one is ambush stance, and this is really good. So campaign movement range is like only 25% now, but you're hidden until discovered or battle is initiated. So this is a good one to try and get ambushes. We're not going to get a lot of ambushes with the dwarves, but armies such as the Skaven and the elves and the beastmen, they rely on ambushes to do a lot of their work. And if you ambush somebody, you get a massive, massive battle starting advantage. The next one is raiding stance. And as you can see, there's a list of different things that happen when you're in raiding stance. I can just sit in his territory and raid it, depending on how much income he's making. And we talked about income just before. Depends on how much I'll get from that. Raiding can be super beneficial. And one of the things to remember is while you're raiding, you're actually getting experience for all of your troops and your leader, whilst not actually having to be in a battle. So it is quite useful. If you haven't got much to do and you just say you're just consolidating your area and building up some bits and pieces in some of your settlements, it's a good thing to just sit on whoever you plan on killing next, their doorstep, and just raid them. You'll keep getting experience and you'll keep getting cash. So it's a good way to do it. Now, this one is encampment. So this is it massively ups your defense by +5, leadership +5, immune to attrition. So if you're in an area, say you're in the vampire area and you're getting attrition from vampiric corruption, or you're down in the chaos wastes or wherever you are, some areas of the map, you will get attrition if you're not used to that area, if your faction isn't used to being in that area. So if the dwarves go, I don't know where the dwarves get attrition actually. In vampire areas, they'll get attrition. The next one, this is unique to about 3 or 4 different races. The dwarves, the Skaven, and the orcs can all travel underground. And then you have the underground battles, which if you haven't watched any of my videos, go and watch either the dwarven ones or whatever, and you'll see a lot of underground battles. These can be really, really good. And if you get good at them, they can mean the difference between winning and losing. Now, there are 2 other exceptions to this, and that is the Wood Elves and the Beastmen. They can use what is similar, it's pretty much the same thing as Underground Stance, or the Underway, it's called. But it's called the Tree of the Roots of the World, or the Tree, I can't remember, I think it's the Roots of the World, which is basically the same thing, but you're going along the roots of the world. So it's the same thing, but it's just called a different thing, and it works pretty much the same, except for in a battle, you'll be kind of in a foresty area instead of underground. So that's pretty much it. Then we've got basically stances none, so stand. We're gonna hop in down here, and we're gonna jump right into. You gotta be careful here, right? If you have a look, I want to go here. But if I jump right in, I'm going to get attacked by him. And you can see when I click on it, if I move into this area and he attacks me, I'll get attacked by him and the settlement. Now, I might want that. I might want him to attack me in the underway instead of me having to break into the settlement. He doesn't have walls yet, so we'll have to have a look. But I'm going to go in anyway, and let's see if he wants to attack me. Now, I'm just outside of that. It could be 50-50. And we'll end our turn there. So on the next turn, in my turn, we'll definitely be attacking Karak Bufdar. Once Beastie has worked his magic over here and done his turn. Okay. Are you ready to rock and roll, Beast? Have our first battle of the segment. We were like 45 minutes. We haven't even had one battle. Hopefully, guys, this isn't too boring. If you're an experienced player, this might be a little bit boring. But if you're a newer player or intermediate player, we'll be going through a lot of this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I just sort of jumped in and started playing, and I didn't really understand until much later in the game. So sometimes it's good to know what everything does. What do you want to do, BC? We're gonna go on the attack?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go to battle, see how that goes.
Click on your army, and then click on the settlement of Pillars of Grungy.
The Pillars of
Grungy.
Whatever. I'm moving.
Yeah. So off he goes. Okay.
Okay, so I'm fighting in battle now. Do you automatically come in to help, or do you have, or is this just me?
No, I will come in and help you. So as long as if you fight it, so you'll notice down the bottom you have fight, auto resolve, or retreat. All right, let's get into a battle. So you probably want to pick the save and save it.
Did that.
All right, and then from here we're going to fight it. So press the fight button on the left.
Yes.
And I'm gonna jump in here and have a fight with you.
Belth spectate.
Oh well, I'll be more. I'll be more than spectating. Okay, so as we go into here, you can see that you've got the battle panel here. It's pretty simple. It gives you a couple of tips in the center here. On the left, it's showing you your army, and on the right, it's showing his army. So you start to get a bit of an appreciation for what you're fighting, yeah?
Yeah. What the tricky bit is where I'm going to place them and who I'm going to make move first, sort of thing.
Well, we'll go through that now.
Oh,
Never fear, Beastie. Never fear.
You didn't hear that, did you?
Hmm?
You didn't hear that.
I didn't hear. What did you say?
More talking.
Yeah. That's all right. This episode is going to will be a long one. We'll do...
I always say that to you. I always troll you with that stupid joke.
That's all right, man. This episode's going to be probably about an hour long, maybe a little bit longer for the first one. But then after that, we'll do them in sort of half-hour segments.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just being a troll.
So this is the setup phase, and this can take a little time to get used to, but you've got a fairly small unit here. Now, because we're playing co-op, you can actually gift units to me, and you can do that by simply clicking on the units, and then down the bottom, just below on the left-hand side, you've got the grudge bearer there. Just below that, there's like a little arrow with a person. So you can actually gift me units. Now, you'll get them back at the end of the battle, but I'll just take control of them for this particular battle.
Did I give you something just to do it?
Absolutely. You can give me whatever you like.
I don't know what to give you. What should I give you?
Let me see.
What I've noticed is that their flag has the picture of what they are, so you know which unit is which. You don't know, oh, which one? What was that one? What was that one again? It actually tells you on their flag. That's good.
Correct. And if you just hover your mouse over them, it'll tell you what they are as well. I tell you what, why don't you give me Thorgrim Grudgebearer? Because he's the only one that's really going to have
my
any
general.
Yeah, well, you can keep him if you want. Actually, yeah.
I can actually give you my general. That's crazy.
You can give me any of these units, dude. Doesn't matter. You can give me all of them, some of them, none of them. Doesn't matter. But what I would suggest is he's probably the one that's going to have a bit of micro about it. The archer's a little bit of micro, but not a lot. So a couple of things you're going to want to do. You're going to want to pull your artillery back a little bit. So click on them. And then you just sort of right click and drag. So click them and then come back a little bit, maybe a couple of lengths.
Behind
back.
my units?
Yes, behind. Yep, come back. Just bring them.
I see.
Yep, so just click them back.
I see how.
So you could just like click on them and click them anywhere and they'll sort of go there, but you can also drag them out to lay them out any way you like. Yeah, see how you've clicked them there, but you can drag them out left or you can drag them out right. You can make the lines thinner or bigger or smaller or longer.
Trying to.
Okay.
And I can click on them, and if I right click and hold, I can move them, but I can't make the box change.
So if you just click on them, tell you what, gift me the archers. Just give me the archers and the artillery for now. So just if you just click on them, click on the archers and then press the little gift thing down the bottom left under.
Just did.
Okay, yeah, now give me the other ones.
Gift you the archers, yeah.
Yep.
And the other one.
Yep, so click on the other archers and then gift them to me.
Done and done.
Okay, so now that I have both the archers, if you click them on the panel and you hold the control, left control or right control, you can actually click two together. And then I just click on anywhere I want them in the map. So say I want to start here, like if I was drawing a box. I hold the right mouse down and I click and I drag it out and that'll drag them out, or you can leave them like boxes like this, or I can drag them out really thin like that, depending on how I want them. If I click and I want it to go that way, I can just move it around. So just hold down the right mouse button and I can move it and shape it any way I like. So gift me your garage throwers, mate, and then you can control the rest.
You're going to do the range stuff?
Yeah, I'll do the range stuff because that's probably the more finicky stuff. I'll leave you good old Thorgrim. You can get in there and smash the orc head. Okay, now we've got those. Move these back here. Okay, so you've got your miners out the front there. We don't really want them out the front.
They were just placed. Yeah, you don't want... Yeah, okay.
So maybe pop them behind your front line here. And maybe spread your front line a little bit. So here's what you can do. If you click on the Dwarf Warriors on the left, holding down Control, so just click on them, then click on the Hammerers, then click on the other Dwarf Warriors and the Dwarf Warriors beside them. You'll see that they'll all be highlighted in your panel. And then go click on the holding Control the whole time. Click on your miners. Have you got all of them highlighted now?
All the units and the miners.
Are they all highlighted now? Tell you what, do this.
Yes,
this is probably easier.
Yes.
And then just pick a spot. You can take your finger off Control now. Pick a spot, and then maybe off to the left a little bit. Say here, and then like right click, holding right click, and drag off to your right this way. You'll notice now that you
want them facing that way.
So we want them facing that way. The enemy's going to come this way. This is your line. So let's have a quick look here. This is your line. This is your deployment zone. Anywhere in the yellow, you can deploy your troops. Anywhere where this yellow is. If you look on your little mini map in the top top right hand corner, anywhere in the yellow, you can deploy. Now, if you have special units that can, I can't remember what it's called all of a sudden, but there are some units that can deploy in this area. One second. In this area here, in the white, between the yellow and the white. And the red area over here is where your enemy is going to deploy, generally in the center here. Okay?
Yep.
So see how you got your troops here? They're going to be coming at you down this way. Yep. So you're going to want your troops lined up in front of your artillery here, like that. Cool?
Okay, you told me to move them there, but all right.
So I would be putting your little arrow here once you've selected all of them, and then dragging that arrow So click here with your arrow and then drag it that way.
I see. Now I get you. Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
Correct. Now you can make them as long or as short as you want. It's up to you. Now the other way to do it really quickly, mate, is just you can actually draw a box like Command and Conquer. Yep.
I just did that. Yeah, that's the way I did it.
That's the same. That's an easy way to do it. It's a quick way, but you can also manually click through them as well.
All right. What about my general? Do I leave him in the middle? Behind, in front?
Generally, I just leave him to start most battles. I just leave him in the center of your troops, sort of behind the center. If you click on him, you'll see there's a blue circle around him, a light blue circle. This is his leadership aura, right? Any units inside that leadership aura get a buff to their leadership and their morale. If you have a look at each one of your units, you've got a green bar, right? And you've got a white bar. Now the green bar is their health, right? And the white bar is their fatigue, right? So how fresh they are. Now, if you look down a little bit further, you get your archers here. And on the green bar, health, then fatigue, and then underneath is their ammunition. So how much ammunition they've got.
Oh, they can run out. Okay,
yes.
Damn.
Well, your archers and your grudge throwers can. They definitely can. Okay? All right. Now, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, before we just start, if I didn't gift you any units, you'd just be watching. Unless I gift you a unit, you can't do anything.
Correct. I just watch.
All right, so I choose what to give you. Okay, all right, I see. Oh, yeah, all right. That's good. Instead of just, because then you can help me with deployment. You might be better with the archers, or you might be better with the frontliners. Yeah, okay. I get it. Should you put some in this woodland area here?
Well, you can. You could hide some in here if you wanted to, but this is a fairly simple battle, so we're not going to really bother too much.
Trying to be a bit strategic, but fine, shut me down, you bastard.
No, that is definitely, like, hiding and flanking. Like, if you were to hide units in here and then flank out, because they're hidden, so as long as they don't get too close to this area, flank out behind them and hit them in the rear, absolutely. But you have more troops than him, and you don't have any cavalry to do that. You could technically use these miners and pop them in there if you wanted to, because they have Vanguard deployment, so they can go in there. I mean, you can do that if you want to. It's a good strategy.
Wouldn't the archers be better in there shooting from... Oh, no, they might miss. They have to shoot through the trees. No, never mind.
Well, yes and no. They get a penalty from shooting, I think into trees you get a penalty, not necessarily shooting out, but you will hit some of the trees coming out. More the problem would be is when these guys get here, you'd have to put them off auto fire. Once they get engaged, then you could shoot them in the rear, but I'm not going to need to do that because we'll be able to move out to here when we want to and shoot across. Yeah, that's why I'm moving them to either side of your line. If you want, dude, take this unit here and pop it in here.
What unit? Yeah. The miners.
Yep. Make sure it's facing that way. So just click on
arrows. Yep. I'm working on it. I'm getting a bit struggling with getting the shape of the box.
No, you just click on the unit. Just click on the unit. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So if you just hold click the right button here and hold it down, and then you can do whatever you like with them. If you just hold wherever you click it.
Oh, so I see. Yeah, I keep doing that mistake. I get it.
You got it?
Yeah, I'll get that. Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
There you go. Now, just make sure they're facing the right. Yeah, they're facing the right way. Okay, so just keep them hidden in there. And, the orcs are going to run at us, and we'll kill them. All right, ready?
For them to come to us, we don't meet them halfway.
We're the dwarves. We are like the immovable stone. They will come to us, and we will shoot them. Okay. Go for it. Start the battle.
Ooh.
Okay.
There's no really good music I can think of singing for this. Oh, they're shooting automatically. Or did you tell them to do that?
They're doing it automatically.
Can you manually tell them to shoot when you want them to shoot?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, so if you're really good at AI assist or no AI. Try that again. AI assist or no AI assist?
Well, they'll auto shoot at this point, but
it's like a lot of units, but a lot of them are just nothing units.
All right, so your hammerers are going to do as much work as you can get them to do. What I would suggest is your miners may be found. We'll see how close they get.
The miners are expendable, though, aren't they? Sort of.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're like pawns. Okay, the archers are firing.
Okay, now these guys are going to wrap around us, yeah? So be ready for that.
Yeah, I'll have to go over to each. I'll have to get two one way to the other.
So right about here, if you pause it, pause the game, up the top on the right hand, you've got pause, right. So what you need to do here, mate, is see how wide their line is here?
Yeah.
They've got this really wide line, right? So what's going to happen is they're going to come here, they're going to hit your front lines, and these guys here and here,
flank me.
They're going to wrap around you, right? They're going to take out your grudgies, and they're going to put your archers into melee, which is going to...
So, should I get my hammerers and my
what you can do,
warriors to run to those sides?
No. So what you can do is you can spread your lines. So you remember how I just showed you how you can grab each of these units in the front? So if you just click on individually, holding control, click all 4 of them. Right? And then with your mouse, start the line like out here and drag it across as far as it can go, right? So that you should be able to get a line about that big. That means that you'll only have this one and probably this one that'll get around the back. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Oh, I did try to change it. Oh, okay, because the game's paused. So
yeah, so
oh damn it. Hang on.
Because we're learning, what I suggest you do is you've got a pause button there and then you've got a slow motion. Put it on slow motion and this will give you time. And for the first couple of battles, or if you ever things are getting too full on or rushing too fast, just go into slow motion. It'll half the pace. And this is really good for new players, guys. Don't be afraid to put on slow motion and just take your time. I still do it. If you're watching my my quick head taker videos, once you got so many troops, sometimes you have to go half pace just to keep up with everything that's going on. So don't be afraid to do that. Remember that your hammerers will absolutely wreck everything that it gets anywhere near, right? So they'll take out more than likely 2 of these guys fairly quickly. So you just need to hold the right flank as long as you can. You do have your guys in here, as long as they don't get seen. So just spread this line as far as you can, all right? So we'll go in. So go into slow pace now, and we'll see it happen slow-mo. Cool?
Yeah, it's a flanking maneuver, that's for sure. They've got their own archers.
All right, they've sent the goblins. They've sent the goblins into the forest after your miners. Just charge your miners into them, so you get the downhill charge. You'll notice there's a slight downhill there, and you want to be charging them because you'll get a bonus. So just click on them and charge the goblins there. That's it. Now come back to your front lines here. So you've spread as wide as you can go. I would click on Thorum, Grudge Bearer, and click him straight onto their enemy warlord, their chief there with the like star over him. That's the general of their army.
Yep, I can see that.
Yeah, so focus on him.
Because he'll smash, won't he?
Well, no, orcs have, once you beat the orc chieftain, their morale drops really, really quickly. So that's a benefit for you.
Should you always go for the leader as quickly as possible?
Yes, generally speaking, unless your leader's not going to beat him. But your leader is very, very good. The dwarves are excellent in melee. So they'll hold this front line, no worries. Your dwarven hammerers will slam through this. I'm going to give them, as soon as we get clear of this, I'm going to give them a little bit of...
How my mind
is going to go there.
It's kind of like epic battle, that epic battle game.
Okay. All right. At this stage, everybody's engaged. You can probably put it up to normal speed now if you want. There you go.
That really helped. That slow-mo gave you time to think.
Yep.
They outnumber me a bit.
So you'll notice here that I've got more on the left flank. We do have our best warriors there, but they are two-handers, so they're not shield. They're not defensive. I have cross-fired my archers. Now, if I shoot over here, they're not going to get great range because they're shooting past their men. On the angle, you get a clearer range of shots, so they'll get more shots in. And we're just supporting this front line here. On the back line...
Are some of them running away already? They're running away.
Yeah, so we've already broken some. So on the back line, I'm using my catapults to take out their archers, right? My archers will continue to take out their archers so they don't have support, while my others will support our heavier right flank here. So these guys are shooting across to get into this blob here. These guys are attacking here.
A lot of running away.
That general's coming back, which is what happens with the orcs and the Skaven quite a lot.
Where's mine guy gone? Okay. There he is.
So they're putting in quite a lot of damage there. Okay. We've broken the back archers here, and these ones have come back, but we'll get some shots into them pretty quickly.
They run away, then they change their mind. Okay.
Well, their morale drops, and then they get far enough away, and it comes back, right? So our hammers are doing quite well. Our archers are supporting as best they can. Our right flanks are good. These guys are more defensive. These guys are more attack. They'll do the job with the support of the archers. Okay. Archers are dead now, so let's use our artillery to take out this stuff coming in. These archers now, we're going to put on here, this flank. Now, we're very close here. All right, we're getting fairly good range. That's good.
Got 3 lights, 3 times coming into the hammerers. They're getting a bit smashed.
That's all right. We've got the archers on them. They'll survive it. The archers will support them. I'm also trying to support the center here. Now the right flank's going to break. They're not going to, like ours isn't going to break, but theirs is going to break. You can see they're wavering already.
Yeah, they're running.
Okay, slow it down. Press pause for a second, Beast. So if you have a look to your right of your center of your line, you've got some dwarf warriors there that are free, right?
Yeah.
People that are engaging have broken now. And they haven't broken. They are retreating, right? So you see the little flag over the head. The white one says they're retreating.
Yep.
If they're retreating, they can still come back, right? If you see a skull over the top of it, it means the unit is broken and it will flee off the field, okay? So if a unit is fleeing and they have the white flag, if you chase them, you can actually chase them off the field. So it's something important to remember, okay? But if you leave them, they may come back. So what I would use...
just leave them.
Well, you can just leave them for now. On the right-hand flank, on your right flank, you've got a wavering orc boys here that are about to flee. So you should be able to fold in both your right-hand dwarven armies. Let me use the... Here.
One of them, because some are still in...
This one's already free, so you can fold him into here. They're already running, so... Basically, they're all running. It's about to break. Everything's about to go anyway. But what you could do is move these two over. And what you creates is a waterfall maneuver. So when one breaks, so say this guy breaks first, right? You then fold him into here. So these guys, say they were still fighting, you'd fold these guys into the back. Remember that morale plays a big portion in the game, yeah? If a unit is getting attacked from the front, they're okay. If they're getting attacked from the rear and the front, that's when you get a sandwich. You get the hammer and anvil, right? And their morale drops really quickly. So even if they're at very high strength, having another one of your units hit them from the rear while they're fighting in the front can be devastating. So do remember that. Quite often you want to just break a flank and then use the troops that are now free to then domino in, yeah? And create a breaking waterfall of troops. This can make a retreat into a full rout where you rout the whole enemy. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does, actually.
All right.
I'm going to send the ones in the middle.
Well, he's still fighting.
The ones on the left.
They're still fighting the general in the middle. You've still got the orc war boss in there.
Yeah, I didn't see his flag. I see it now.
Move your ones from here. You can either jump them in on the general and surround him, which will drop his morale very, very quickly, and he'll roll. And once he rolls, all the rest will roll with him. Yeah?
So I should focus on the general.
Well, generally speaking, especially early game, you take the general out, they'll take a huge morale loss, right? And then it's only a matter of breaking them. So go from there. Press play and you've won this, but just press play and off you go. And they've broken. There you go. They've shattered.
Oh yeah, they've gone. Yeah, they're all retreating.
All right. So at this point,
General's still.
At this point, your general's shattered now. See how he's got a skull? He's shattered. He's not coming back. That's it. It's done. You've won. So there's a couple of things to do here. If you were playing a field battle, that means you're not attacking a settlement. You'd want to chase down these guys as much as you can and kill as many of them as you can. If it's the first battle you've had with this army, they get to, after you've defeated them, they get to retreat. So they'll run off on the map from you, right? They'll move, say you were having a battle here, they'll probably move over somewhere randomly. Once they do that, they're actually exhausted. They're like in forced stance march, right? So they're exhausted. If you attack them again and you win, which you normally will because they'll be seriously depleted, and even if they do have good health, they'll be their vigor loss will be massive. So, and they'll take massive morale penalties. So you will probably destroy them. All right. We're fighting. We're actually not on a field of battle. We're actually in a town. Right. I don't know what that is, but it was meant to be my town. So because it's because it's a settlement battle, you don't need to continue chasing them down. They all die immediately. There's nowhere for them to run. Okay. So you can just end the battle now, and they're wiped out. They're gone. That's it. Well done. So those were just
save the replay.
Those are just a couple of basic tactics. But sometimes it's good to just try and win a flank, right? If you push through and you break through the center, this can be good too. There's a couple of ways to win this. I mean, there's a lot of ways to win a battle, right? Take out their general and drop their morale really, really quickly. This is one way, and this will help you to break them. Very good when fighting things like vampires, who, if you take the vampire leader out, they crumble really quickly, yeah? Skaven are another one. Skaven are cowards. Yes. And they will run fairly quickly. They'll run even with lords on the field, but they'll run especially quickly if you take the lords out. And their lords aren't usually, unless it's Queek or Skrulk, they're both a bit tanky, but most of the normal ones are not. Skrulk can be tanky, and Queek can definitely... Queek's a duelist, so he's more of an assassin. He can be tanky, but he's not like a real tank. The dwarves are tanks. They can just sit in the middle of an army and take it all. Okay, so now that you've won this, right, you'll have a choice on what you want to do with the settlement. You can loot it. You can not loot. You can loot it and occupy it. You can raise it. You can raise it. I'm trying to remember all of them. Or you can just occupy without doing any of it. Now, if you loot and occupy, you'll have you'll destroy a lot of the buildings in there, and you'll have pick the left-hand one. Pick the just occupy one because you got a timer. Did you occupy it?
Just did occupy.
Yeah. Right, if you just occupy, you won't destroy as much of the buildings. You won't get as big a penalty to public order. So if you have a look at it now, there's a public order -9 to public order. Right, that means you've just taken it over. There's probably some still greenskins in there and all sorts of business going on. So it'll take a couple of turns, and you'll have to rebuild it and fix things for your public order to come up. Cool?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So is it always the best? Oh, well, it's a hard choice. Should you just try and should you try and make them your own? Or should you just go for the instant cash injection?
Well, it depends on what you need, and it depends on whether you want it. Now, this is your first province, and you really want them, so you don't really want to have to be dealing with a lot of public order problems for very long. So you wouldn't raise it because you want this building, and you probably wouldn't loot and occupy because you don't have to deal with the public order problems afterwards. Yes, you'll get a bit of injection in cash, but then you're going to be dealing with issues afterwards. So occupying
it completely destroys it.
Completely destroys it. Now you can resettle it, but resettling it costs troops and costs a lot of money. So you always, if you want a province, you're always better off taking it rather than raising it. If you don't give a shit about it, then just raise it. to the ground. This will give you a heap of cash.
Yeah,
and it'll negatively affect your relationship with that other person even worse. All right. So guys, that'll be about a good hour and 10 for our first episode. I know it was mostly talking, guys. The next ones will get a little bit more intense with battles, but again, we're going to be talking tactics and strategy through each one of the battles, really trying to show ways to route, use morale and leadership to get you in there. And we'll be talking a little bit more through it. So thank you very much for watching. And as always, if you have enjoyed it, then please do hit that thumbs up and the like. I don't expect to get huge watch views on this because most people have been playing this game for a long time. So there's probably not that many newbies out there. But if you are a newbie and you've enjoyed it and you're learning, then please let me know. Do write questions in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm not a super expert. I do play on Legend in some campaigns, not all of them. But I'm not like the superest expert. There are better players out there. If you want some basic battle, well, not basic, if you want some high-level battle tactics at a high-paced speed, then I'd suggest having a look at people like Turin, who does a lot of PvP matches, Milk and Cookies Total War. There's a lot of those guys out there, those sort of guys, and they all roll around. They do a lot of the PvP stuff. They're very good at quick turn, quick stuff. I do more of the campaign stuff myself because they have more fun toys to play with. But if you want more advanced stuff, that's where you'd go. That's probably it, guys. Thank you very much as always. And again, do hit the likes up and the subscribe. And I'll see you on our next episode of Teaching Total War. See you guys. Bye.
Goodbye.